Born in a stable, no throne, no crown, no army, no sword. And yet, more than 2,000 years later, his name is known by billions. Who was he? This is the story of Jesus Christ, a man whose message changed the course of human history. In the quiet town of Bethlehem, nestled within the hills of Judea, a child was born under the most unassuming circumstances. The world was oblivious to the significance of this birth, which took place in a stable, surrounded by animals, with no royal fanfare or heralding trumpets. This child, Jesus of Nazareth, would grow to become a figure whose teachings would resonate through the ages, altering the course of human history and touching the lives of billions. From the very beginning, Jesus' life was marked by humility. Born to Mary and Joseph, a young couple of modest means, his early years were spent in a small town where labor and simplicity defined existence. There were no signs of grandeur or privilege. Instead, the family struggled to make ends meet, embodying the essence of the everyday person. As a child, Jesus was likely like any other, curious, playful, and learning about the world around him. Yet even in these formative years, there was a sense of something extraordinary brewing within him. As he grew, Jesus became deeply rooted in the traditions and teachings of Judaism. The scriptures were not just texts to him, they were the foundation of his understanding of God and humanity. He would often engage with the religious leaders of his time, challenging their interpretations and bringing forth a message that was both radical and transformative. While others sought power, status, and wealth, Jesus emphasized love, compassion, and humility. His teachings were not cloaked in the language of the elite. They were accessible, spoken in parables that resonated with the common folk, the shepherds, fishermen, and farmers who formed the backbone of society. At the age of 30, Jesus began his public ministry, a journey that would take him across the regions of Galilee and Judea. He did not ride into towns on a grand steed, nor did he gather an army. Instead, he walked among the people, often barefoot, sharing his message of hope and redemption. His words were revolutionary. "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." This radical notion challenged the societal norms of the time, offering solace to the marginalized and oppressed. Jesus spoke of a kingdom not defined by earthly power, but by love, mercy, and justice. His teachings attracted a diverse following, drawn not only by his profound wisdom, but also by his ability to heal. Stories of miraculous acts, healing the sick, restoring sight to the blind, and even raising the dead, spread like wildfire. These miracles were not mere spectacles. They were manifestations of his compassion and divine authority. Jesus reached out to the outcasts, the sinners, and the downtrodden, emphasizing that God's love was available to all, regardless of their status or past. As his popularity grew, so did the scrutiny from religious authorities and political leaders. They viewed him as a threat to their power and influence. Jesus' message of love and equality undermined the rigid structures of the religious elite and challenged the Roman authorities who ruled with an iron fist. He was seen as a disruptor, a radical whose ideas could incite rebellion and unrest. Yet rather than retreating in the face of opposition, Jesus continued to speak truth to power, often using his parables to critique the very systems that sought to silence him. The culmination of his earthly ministry came during the final days in Jerusalem. Jesus entered the city amid cheers and adoration, hailed as a king by the people who laid palm branches in his path. Yet he did not come to establish an earthly kingdom. Instead, he knew that his mission was far greater. In the days that followed, he shared the Last Supper with his disciples, foretelling his impending sacrifice. His words were filled with love and a call to remember him through the breaking of bread and sharing of wine, a profound act that would become the cornerstone of Christian practice. Betrayed by one of his closest followers, Jesus faced arrest, trial, and ultimately crucifixion. The events unfolded with a sense of tragic inevitability as the very people he had come to save turned against him. The cross, a symbol of suffering and shame, became the instrument of his execution. Yet even in his final moments, Jesus exemplified the love he preached. "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do," he uttered, encapsulating the essence of his message, a message that transcended time and space. His death would not be the end of the story. 3 days later, the narrative took a transformative turn with the resurrection. Jesus emerged from the tomb, a testament to hope and the promise of eternal life. This pivotal event galvanized his followers, who spread his teachings far and wide. The early Christian community, fueled by the belief in the risen Christ, began to grow, facing persecution yet remaining steadfast in their faith. Over the centuries, the teachings of Jesus would spread across continents, transcending cultural and linguistic barriers. His message of love, forgiveness, and redemption resonated with countless individuals, inspiring movements for justice, peace, and equality. The impact of his life and teachings can be seen in art, literature, philosophy, and social justice initiatives. Countless lives have been transformed by the simple yet profound call to love one another, to care for the least among us, and to seek a deeper connection with the divine. Today, Jesus Christ stands as one of the most influential figures in history. His teachings continue to inspire billions, shaping moral frameworks and guiding ethical conduct across diverse cultures. In a world often marked by division and strife, his message of love remains a beacon of hope. The humble beginnings of a child born in a stable have blossomed into a legacy that transcends time, reminding humanity of the power of compassion, humility, and unwavering faith. Through his life, Jesus has shown that greatness does not come from power or wealth, but from love and service to others, a lesson that resonates as profoundly today as it did 2,000 years ago.